Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to Topher Drives, where this week I've been daily driving this 2025 Nissan Armada Pro-4X. We've been on a bit of a Nissan hot streak lately of some of these new models that Nissan is hoping will pull them out of this bit of a situation that they're in right now. And I think this new Armada might actually be the nicest thing they currently make, and I'm excited to show you why in today's morning commute to downtown in this off-road oriented trim of the new twin-turbo V6, new from the ground up Armada. Because of course these vehicles are very functional, they're very useful off-road, but for the most part people are going to buy an Armada Pro-4X, they're going to daily drive it, they're going to commute it downtown to their office job. So that's why you come to Topher Drives, to see what that real-world experience would be like. So before we do that, let's talk about what we have in front of us. I mentioned this is brand new from the ground up. The biggest difference is they ditched the naturally aspirated 5.6 liter V8, replaced it with the VR35DD TT, which in English is a twin turbocharged 3.5 liter V6, making 425 horsepower, 516 pound-feet of torque. This is four-wheel drive. It has a 9-speed automatic transmission, so normal Nissan Armada stuff. And this is, of course, the sister vehicle to the Infiniti QX80, which we have actually driven on Topher Drives. I went to the launch event of that in Napa Valley. I actually went to the launch event of the Armada as well in Franklin, Tennessee. So there is actually quite a bit of content in the Topherverse on this platform. But I figured today we would show you just simply what it's like to live with. So this is the Pro-4X trim, starts at about $75,000. This one has a few options, comes in around 78 grand. It's finished in deep ocean blue, which I think is a fantastic color. The sun is not out, surprise, surprise, but you can kind of see the deepness of this, I suppose. It's got a really nice metallic to it. All of the Pro-4Xs at the first drive event were this dark green color, which are also very nice. Not a ton of color available for the Pro-4X. This dark blue and the dark green are kind of your only choices. They all have the charcoal colored interior with some of this orange accenting, but they also all get air suspension. You can see this is like Stance Nation right now in the back, totally slammed. But when it's in its full extendo lifted mode, it's got 9.6 inches of ground clearance, and the Pro-4X gets a unique front bumper, so you get a 33-degree approach angle. You can see very aggressive there, so you are actually able to use this and do some off-roading, or if you just like running over obstacles in cities, I suppose this would do you fine as well. We have 8 different drive modes with this Pro-4X as well. This air suspension adjusts depending on what sort of terrain you're going over. You can see our floating D-pillar here with this orange Armada badge specific to the Pro-4X. Okay, towing. This can tow 8,500 pounds. And see we have a little cover there over our tow hitch, but all of these Pro-4X Armadas do get the towing package. Power liftgate, of course, where you can see this is one massive SUV. However, they don't make a long wheelbase version, kind of like how Ford and GM do with like the Suburban and the Expedition Max. So this is your only choice for size. So that means with the third row folded up, which I definitely know how to do. There we go. These are power folding third row seats. That one did not come up for some reason. Please come up. Oh, that's the rise. Okay, it's not satisfied with the position of the second row seat, I suppose, so we'll just do that. Okay, see if it likes that better. Please rise. Yes, there it goes. Okay, so anyway, room behind the third row, excuse me. Not great, but you do have a little bit of storage underneath, and since this isn't a hybrid, like the Toyota Sequoia, you actually have room in here. There's not a hybrid battery underneath, so a little bit of room. And then obviously these third row seats, you're not going to be using these every single day unless you have 6 children or something, which if you do, then I guess you will be using them every day. But you do have nice room with these folded down. And also a nice benefit of this having air suspension is you can adjust the back of this car when you're loading things in and out. I mean, this is not unique to the Armada. Lots of vehicles with air suspension can do this, but it's cool to see it on a Nissan. This is a very nice Nissan, I will say. Oh, a little bit of sun. Ah, can you see the deep blue pearl, ocean pearl? Nice. Okay. Oh, there it is. Yes, what a treat. There you go. You guys can see the paint color. All right, so for tires, these are unique to the Pro-4X, the wheels as well, of course. We have a Yokohama Geolander AT and a 275/60R20 squared setup. And it's so funny because these are 20-inch wheels, which growing up, 20-inch wheels were always like a huge baller status symbol. And now they just look puny on this because the Platinum Reserve trim, kind of the top luxury trim, has like 22s on it or something. So those are kind of the big looking wheels, but I think these look nice. They fit this quite well. Inside, as I mentioned, we have this charcoal black colored interior, unique Pro-4X badging on the headrests, orange stitching down the middle, and pretty nice kind of quilted leather on these seats. Not the softest material, but it feels like it'll hold up pretty well. Can go like this, and that second row gets out of your way. You can jump back into the third row, which you know we will be showing you what room is like back here, of course. Put this headrest up. We will be putting that back down to dry. But in the back here, I mean, this is one of the big advantages with a full-size SUV like this, is you can actually kind of use this third row for adults. I'm a little bit cramped here at 5'11", sat behind a reasonable seating position in the second row, but my knees are not in my face, which is kind of what you'll find a lot with sort of like medium-sized SUVs. So USB-C port, we've got some speakers back here for our Klipsch sound system, which you guys know we will be testing today. That actually folds down very easily. We've got handles to jump into the second row. And back here, sat behind myself once again at 5'11", plenty of room. I honestly think you could fill this thing with adults, and I forgot to put that headrest down. We do get our own climate control panel in the second row as well, a couple of USB-C ports, and just kind of a regular 12-volt car charger outlet. Fold down armrest with some cup holders, and this is very squishy. We have comfy elbow support for the second row. Love to see it. Pano roof comes almost all the way back here to the back of the second row. This is part of the one option that Nissan will sell you on the Armada. It's like the Armada technology. God, I should have remembered what this was called. The advanced Pro-4X package or something. It's like a $2,000 option, bumps this up to 78 grand. Let's pop the hood real quick, and then we will show you up front, and we'll get on the road. I love these little slats up front, kind of remind me of the 1980s Nissan hardbody. Under the hood, which does have struts, thank you Nissan, the 3.5 liter twin turbo V6, quite an attractive looking engine cover on there. And this is somewhat of a derivative of what was in the Z and the GTR and things like that, but it is, 90% a different engine. But Nissan likes to show off their heritage with some of their performance models, saying that this has some influence, so we will let them have that. We'll let them have their quite rich heritage. So anyway, all right, well, let's go ahead and get out of the wind. Let's jump in this Armada Pro-4X, and we'll show you what it's like to drive. Pretty decent trimmings on this door panel. I mean, it's not the most exciting thing in the world to look at, but we do have memory seats, tweeter for that Klipsch sound system, kind of this fake wood trim going on. We've got lumbar adjusts on these seats, which I actually do really like, even just trimmed in this charcoal. They have lots of nice contrast stitching and depth to them. I love the Pro-4X there on the headrest. Another thing I love is the driver gets a handle to get in. Got a handle for all four doors. Doors feel pretty nice when you shut them. Let's fire it up. Lots of comfort access here. We have a power adjust steering column. Seat moves forward for you as well. Quite a large steering wheel, pretty similar to the size of wheel that we saw in the QX80, but this one's just a bit different. We have a camera rear view mirror in this Armada as well, but honestly, even with it not in its camera setting, I can see out of the back just fine with those third row seat headrests folded down. Massive center console, proper truck stuff going on here in this. Nissan doesn't make the Titan anymore, so they have to make up for it somewhere. We have an optional trash can. I'll give you guys a second to guess how much Nissan charges for this at the dealership. No, $53. I got in this the other day. I was picking it up from the Topher, and I thought it was an ashtray, but no, it's actually a little trash can, which you can see Emily's already used it for a gum wrapper. So I guess kind of serving its purpose and protecting your door pockets from little silly pieces of trash. Dashboard looks quite nice. We have, again, contrast stitching. We have this new infotainment system, which looks like it may be a continuous screen, but there is a little gap here in the middle, which is fine for every instance except when you go into your camera mode, like so, and you go like this, and then you go like this to activate what Nissan calls invisible hood view, and it's ruined by this cheap-looking gap in the middle. So I don't know, maybe on the next one they'll put one screen instead of two, but I do like this as far as just a very big camera setup for when you're off-roading. Helps you out quite a bit, and I did use this off-roading at the launch event in Tennessee. Lots of different camera options for you. We could spend all day going through those. Good places to put things, and overall, love that this center console is designed a lot better than the one on the QX80. That one is just so stiff and uncomfortable, and it sits too high, and none of the climate control works as it should. This just has a very normal physical climate control panel for 90% of what you need to do. It's got a place for your phone there, wireless charger, a couple of USB-C ports. Like I said, huge, deep console that isn't a cooler or any sort of gimmicky thing. We have since 1951. Again, some more of that heritage there stamped on our interior trim. But overall, what I love so much is that Nissan, even with this being a new model for the 25 model year, they haven't gone overboard. They haven't gone crazy making this too Tesla-fied. You can actually still use a lot of things. Two gripes with this. It's all piano black, which means that it's just a fingerprinted mess, kind of like a screen would be. So it'd be nice to see them make this out of a bit of a different material. Love that it has a volume knob, though. And then also the same on these steering wheel buttons, which you can see they're really, really slow to react. So if you want to raise your volume, you can see how delayed that is. And it gets to a point where they just stop working altogether. See that? So same for skipping tracks. I mean, these buttons are just really dim-witted and they don't work well at all. I think that's about it, though. We have a trailer brake controller here on this Pro-4X. Drive mode selector, we'll get into that once we're on the road a bit. Place to put your sunglasses. All in all, this is like $20,000 to $30,000 cheaper than that Infiniti QX80 I was driving a couple of months ago. And honestly, you guys, I like this better. I would have this. Let's go for a drive, and we'll show you what it's like. Little hidden storage compartment here underneath the main console as well. Push button shifter like we saw in the Nissan Murano. You've got your electronic parking brake to the left of the steering wheel, down by your left knee. Finally, Nissan puts some high-quality cameras in a vehicle. Let's applaud them for that. It only took their flagship SUV to get some nice cameras. You can see beautiful quality on that 360 cam. Really lots of nice detail there in the pavement. Into drive with the push button, you can also toggle yourself into manual mode. I like how you can see the red accenting from whatever sort of Pro-4X bit that is. Steering weight on the heavier side, however, it feels pretty appropriate for the size of vehicle that this is. I spent the first half of this week in the Audi RS6 Avant, which just has like feather light steering. And I got into this and it felt quite heavy. And it is a bit heavier, as long as my memory serves me correctly, than the QX80. QX80 steering is a little bit more confusing, actually. It's very light, like in parking lots, and then it's very heavy at speed. The steering in the Armada does feel a bit more consistent. And another funny fact about the steering, this is the first time an Armada in the history of the model has ever had electric power steering in the year 2025. Really nice torque, pretty linear power curve as well from this 3.5 liter twin turbo V6. Inputs are pretty good. I'd say they're 80% of the way there for me. You sometimes get some jumpy takeoffs every now and then. Sometimes things are a little bit inconsistent. Brakes feel good. You don't feel like you're doing a nosedive with this air suspension. Pretty well dialed in. You do, of course, hear some from this 3.5, but it's not as grainy as it could be. Nissan engines are never particularly quiet, but I think they're working on that, trying to smooth things out, do some refinements. Yeah, power curve here is great. I mean, you get up to speed very quickly, very smooth shifts from the 9-speed automatic. Ride quality is really nice on these very squishy Yokos. All right, let's go sport mode. Firm ourselves up a bit for this corner. I mean, this thing is quick, guys. This is like a 3-ton SUV. It scoots pretty well. We'll go over here and we'll show you how it gets off the line as well, and then we'll get it downtown. As far as efficiency goes, between the Topher and I, we've put 193 miles on this Armada, which, by the way, very fresh car. It's only got 619 miles on it total. But anyway, we've been averaging 15.2 mpg, which is actually 3 miles to the gallon better than I was averaging in the Audi RS6 Avant. So, something. Okay. Actually pulling over for just a quick second. I fear my mouth is dry and I'm developing a lisp, so we're going to have to deploy the glove compartment beverage. Let's do an acceleration. Actually, we'll test the turning circle too. Quite good. Oh yeah, quite good. Okay, let's turn off our auto stop start and do a bit of a brake torque here. Oh yeah. 9-speed in this, it shifts pretty quick. It feels like it shifts quite a bit faster than the Murano that I was just driving last week. Heavy on the brakes. Paddle shifters feel pretty nice. Just hold one, that will put you back into drive, or after a minute the car kind of just defaults you back into drive, which is fine. Let's go back into our standard mode. It's what I've found to be the best, which makes sense. You can kind of perfect your limo stops. This air suspension does help with it being quite soft. I honestly think this powertrain is perfect for this platform. Do I miss the V8? Yes. Do I miss the sound of that big NA 5.6 liter? Yes, but it does a better job of just getting on with it. Get yourself going. All good stuff. Nine-speed does do quite a bit of searching, and this is kind of notorious for this Nissan 9-speed, but while it's searching, very smooth. You kind of just have this little audible noise of the engine changing pitch. But anyway, all right, well, what's this like to sit in on the highway? One of the most important aspects of a big, full-sized family SUV like this. Happy to report, it's quite pleasant. Seating position, very nice. Seat comfort is quite nice. And what I like is that we still kind of have this signature Armada look, looking out over this hood, even though this is a brand new design. You have this kind of bulbous, like, hump in the middle of the hood that reminds you that you're in an Armada. So that's kind of fun. Some nostalgia there. We have Pro Pilot Assist on this. Of course, you can set that. Adaptive cruise, all the things. Set our lane keep assist, or steering assist, excuse me. Down here it's a physical button to the left of the steering wheel, and that will do some steering for us. Doesn't steer for terribly long, kind of makes you take over after like 5 seconds. I'll turn that off. NVH, not too bad. As always, it seems in these videos, it's a very windy day today. Surprise, surprise, my area is windy. It's blowing the car all over the place currently. All right, most important thing, elbow comfiness in this Armada. Happy to report, much better than the QX80. We actually have a properly designed center console in this car with pretty decent squish. Now, it's not the softest thing in the world, but it's a nice surprise when I thought this would just be terrible like the QX80. And nice kind of even points to place your hands here. Ergonomics are nice. You can see out of this. I mean, even with the seating position in the lowest setting, I can see way out over the hood. I see lots of brake lights. This is not a good sign. Very bad sign indeed. You guys, please read the plate on this Nissan Kicks. Well, guess while we're in this traffic, kind of further validates the good driving dynamic tuning with the throttle and brake. Tell you what, guys, Topher drives the most realistic because it is just real. There you go, truck coming across 3 lanes there. Nice. I feel like traffic just brings out the worst in people. Like, you'll see people just pulling all kinds of crazy moves to go exactly nowhere. And then egos come in, people don't let each other in, it causes more traffic. Freedom! And people are bailing. See, this happens in normal time, but it's detrimental when there's traffic. There's a semi-truck bailing, blocking this entire lane right now. Ah, see, this is the problem. There you go. That's what it is. All right. We are free. Okay, back to the video. What were we talking about? Oh, let's test out the Klipsch sound system here in this Armada. Now, the QX80 also gets a Klipsch. This one's got less speakers, but it's still pretty dang impressive. Now, I never had a problem with the old Bose system in this car, but I think it's cool that they're switching to a brand that is very well known in just kind of the audio world, but they don't really have anything in cars. I think it's just like this and then the QX80. So cool to see kind of a new name to the automotive industry, and it sounds pretty dang good. I mean, the Klipsch in the QX80, yes, it has more speakers, it has more customization, but it's a little bit gimmicky, and I think I prefer kind of just the pure nature of this one here in the Armada. You've got pretty decent detail for your highs, really good punches from the base. Ride quality in standard mode, it's kind of hard to judge, to be honest, because body on frame vehicles like this, you're always going to have a little bit of bounciness, a little bit of shake. The suspension itself, it's just about how I would want it, honestly. It's a pretty good balance. I've been told by the Topher when you go into some of the off-road modes, it gets very stiff. Overall ride quality, though, I'm pretty pleased with it. Yeah, I don't really think I would change anything here. There is somewhat of a rattle going on. I don't know if it's... I can't tell if it's console or if it's glove box. Or dashboard, I mean. I think it might be dashboard. It's not the $53 trash can. And you guys, this only has 600 miles on it. Why is it rattling? Oh, goodness. I didn't notice this at first when I picked it up. I don't know if maybe it's developed, this rattle, this week. Anyway, let's get this thing downtown and we'll see how it does in this environment. I'll tell you, for one, it does feel quite big. And as you know, this road up here, very narrow. I actually have driven this road like twice now this week with this Armada. You do kind of feel like a bus. Very big feeling interior, Chad. But everything in this is just big. The steering wheel's big. Seat, like, driver's compartment is massive. The stance of this car, it's just huge. The biggest perk, though, honestly, with vehicles like this, yes, they're very big, but manufacturers understand that, and in turn, they make them very easy to see out of. So, I mean, these mirrors are massive. I've got a really good idea of where this Armada is. Okay, let's get this downtown, let's wrap it up, and we'll see how much of the parking structure I can maneuver this thing through. I've already done one parking structure with it yesterday, which was a much smaller parking structure with a lower roof, so I think this one will be okay. I think this one's got like a 9-foot clearance or something, which is plenty. Armada is like 6'6" tall. There we go, get this turned in here nice and wide. Oh yeah. Parking sensors, cameras coming up automatically. Lots of help.
Welcome. Please take it. Please proceed into the lot.
He goes, please take. Thank you, sir. Well, this is 7'8". Yeah, whatever. That's plenty. Plenty for us. The only problem with big cars like this is that generally these parking structures are not very well suited to having 2 rows of traffic. So what I like about this one is it's a one-way for half of it. I guess the middle parts are 2-way, so you do have to be careful, especially with big vehicles parked in here that are sticking out a bit. So you kind of got to take these corners pretty sharp. See, like right here would be impossible. You've got 2 Silverados sticking out. Steering rack's pretty slow. You have to do a lot of steering. I know this isn't necessarily aimed to be like a luxury SUV. Granted, it's almost $80,000, obviously out the door with taxes and everything. You're over 80 grand into an Armada Pro-4X, but it's still not aimed at like a luxury buyer. This is more of like a functional off-road, functional family sort of SUV. So I wouldn't expect the steering to be like super light. We just got some sort of a warning light there and then it went away. I wouldn't expect the steering to be like razor sharp and super quick. but you do kind of feel like you're lugging it. It's heavy, you have to do a lot of steering. So I want to wrap this up, and I want to really congratulate Nissan on building something very nice, something that feels competitive in this segment versus the Expedition, the Tahoe, the Jeep Wagoneer, even its big sibling, the Infiniti QX80, which I would pick this over. I just think it's a much more cohesive package that makes more sense. So give Nissan a chance. I mean, if you're shopping in this segment, the Armada genuinely is a nice choice. I know before it was, God, it was probably the same for 10, 15 years, which does add some charm to a vehicle, but this one hasn't lost too much charm aging into its new generation. It does still feel, it feels kind of properly retro still in some ways, of just all of the very easy to work controls in here. Nothing's Tesla-fied, as I like to say. So it's quite good. I like this new Armada, and I think the Pro-4X trim honestly might be the one to have, because you get a lot of what you get on the Platinum Reserve. The air suspension, the towing capacity, the standard four-wheel drive, the Klipsch sound system, a lot of these like other good options. I promise I know how to park. We're a little over the line, whatever, there's nobody up here. Lots of good options on this, and I think it looks cool. Also, I like that you get like a unique front bumper. You get all this cool orange stitching, and not to mention also, I think I forgot to mention this in the beginning of the video, this is the first time Nissan has ever made a Pro-4X Armada. It's only ever been the Titan, which they no longer make, and the Frontier. And like I said in the last couple of videos, it seems like all of these cars have little outro noises that they play now. So Nissan gives you one too. And, well, it can't be a Nissan without them spelling out the model name somewhere in the interior. So there you go, on the Armada. Well, let's jump out, and we'll give you one last look at this Pro-4X, which really actually does not fit in this parking spot at all. Okay, I'm actually centered pretty decently, but it's a little bit long for the spot. That's okay. I love this blue, and really, okay, you can see how dramatic these cameras are and parking sensors. I feel like 1.5 feet I could have backed up further, and it's acting like I'm this close to the wall. Okay, guys, well, that's gonna wrap it up for us today. Let me know what you think of the new Armada. I'm really happy with it. I don't think I would really change too much, and what I would change, I went over in the video. So hopefully you watched the whole thing. Hopefully you enjoyed, and as always, let me know if you have any questions, if I left anything out. But that will wrap it up for us today. Thank you guys all so much for watching. Thank you for supporting the channel, and we will see you very soon in the next one. Take care.